Alright, I wasn't going to do a full review on this knife, but just for the sake of being fair to all the knives I review, I'm going to go ahead and show you this one. This is my first impressions on this. And I got this today. There was a shipping label. I just teared it off because I got tired of marking it off with Sharpie. And then instead of ripping it or knife cutting it, I just peeled it off. The most tactical knife ever. It is the Opinel, or Opinel, Carbon Edition number 8. And we're looking at the same price point as something like this. It's a Smith & Wesson Special Tacticals knife. And surprisingly, this thing is so smooth for the price. And I love this thing. Again, you can see it usually flicks open pretty quick. Usually, this thing flicks really quick. I have abused the crap out of this knife, and I've used it, and I still do use it. I learned how to sharpen with this knife. So, the price range, let's go ahead and start talking about the price range. The price is $12 shipped, I think, and I paid tax for this, and that's what kind of made it $12. It's like $8 plus shipping, $3, $11 plus $11 plus tax, which makes it just about $12. So I'll just say $8, which is incredibly cheap. Incredibly cheap, just about the same ballpark as this Smith & Wesson knife. Now everyone's raving about how good it is. For the price, you're not going to get a better knife. Well, I say nay to that, sirs. For the price, you can get a better knife. I actually got it because I really like how it looks. Go ahead and give you a shot of this. I like how it looks. I like how it's round like that. How's it fit in the hand? I don't know. I mean, a saber grip? Really? The handle's a little too short for me still. Like I said, I have big hands. Your mileage will vary. And this is out of the box. I've never done this before, so I don't know how sharp it is. I've never done it. So it's decent. I do feel it's hanging up. But it's decent. Out of the box, it's okay. Now, I definitely want to put my own edge on this. But it cuts paper okay. Working edge, I'd say. And it looks like it has a very steep angle on it, so I put a very steep angle strop. Let's see if this does any better. Holy crap. It does worlds better. I'm not sure what you want to say about the blade for that. Stropping has made this blade come alive. The blade is a carbon steel, which is prone to rusting. So I'm going to go ahead and put a layer of a little bit of rem oil on here so it doesn't rust. Again, this is just regular old rem oil that I use for my guns. Just rub it on there. You don't need a lot. Just to protect it. Then just wipe it off. Really brings that shine back. You can see where I rem oiled it, and then back here where I didn't. Right between here. Shine difference is amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and get that back there too. Get you back here too. There we go. And out of the box, this thing came with a little bit of oil on here. I don't know what kind of oil it is, but I really like rem oil for protectant. The blade material. For the carbon steel, guys, it's going to be XC90, and for the stainless steel version, it's a 12C27. So the blade stop for this is the back of this handle, okay, which if you close it really quickly when this thing loosens up, you have a chance of creating splits in here and eventually breaking this. So fit and finish, I have to give it to the Smith & Wesson. my opinions on it. You know what? I know we're going to compare this to. I'm not going to say an Opinel's totally bad, but this is like a 60s model car opposed to modern car. Okay? In the same price range, we'll just say this is kind of 3 years old and it was already a cheap car to begin with. Well, it's a Kia Rio. Okay? And this was, a classic old car. No matter how good a classic old car is at the time, if you're looking at functionality, usability, there's no way in hell it's going to be more functional and usable than a modern knife. And that's kind of how I'm going to compare this Opinel. Okay, guys? It's a great knife. I mean, what's a knife used for? It's used to cut. It cuts. But in a folding knife, no frills knife that just works, like a 60s automobile. Okay? But now if you want air conditioning, right, this little flipper area, air conditioning, right? And if you want power windows would probably be like those washers in there, so it's kind of smooth, right? And what about other amenities like a CD and navigation, right? Then again, you're looking at this right here. A CD navigation could be probably, the thumb stud. Alright, and what else? If you want grippy modern tires, the handle on this is much grippier than this Opinel wood handle. And again, and reliability, right? You dropped it on a rock, down a cliff. I'm pretty sure this thing's gonna survive being dropped on a rock or on a small little cliff. This thing hits a rock the wrong way, you're going to break the handle, you'll have an unusable knife. Okay? That's how I'm going to compare it. Does it both do the same thing? Yeah, you get in, you could ride off if you're comparing it to a car. But what's going to be more reliable? Definitely the more modern. And that's kind of why I do not recommend the Opinel. Alright, that's a perfect comparison in my opinion. So that's my video, and it's as honest as I could be. Hope you guys enjoy it. So you guys saw my first impressions. It's not that great. And I'm going to go ahead and, put some of my first impressions video, mix it in with this one, because not much has changed, exactly what I kind of expected. The price. I'm not going to score the price till I mention the blade and sharpness out of the box, as well as blade shape. So we'll go about it here. Let me see if I can find a pen to start. Overall score. The price is very good. It's relatively cheap for what you're getting. But as I mentioned before, it's in the same price range as the Smith & Wesson. So there's a lot of YouTube reviewers that say, oh, this is the best knife in the price range. No, it's not. Honestly, I prefer this Smith & Wesson any day over this Opinel. Okay, blade steel. It's a carbon blade. And let me see if I could find that video. The blade material for the carbon steel, guys, is going to be XC90, and for the stainless steel version, it's a 12C27. Okay, so that's the blade steel of this carbon blade. Give or take, whatever. It's not the greatest for the price, whatever. It's not a streamlined blade, It's not something that we all heard of, we all love. So the blade steel, I'm gonna go ahead and give that a 5. Okay. Let's see here. Blade. Okay, out of the box sharpness, it wasn't that great. It wasn't. I stropped it off. I stropped it. After stropping, it got a lot better. So it has a working edge. Now I cut an orange with this. I wasn't gonna do this, but just to be fair, for review purposes, I've decided to carry this Opinel for a little bit. This is brand new, so let's go ahead and do my EDC tasks. This pain in the butt blade. Interesting. Very interesting. Cuts pretty well. I did not put my own edge on this thing. It is from the factory, like I test all my blades. I did strop though. And although initially it has a hard time cutting the skin, it actually is doing very well. It's not spewing orange juices everywhere. Now, kind of the good thing about this is that I don't have to worry about the pivot because there really is none to worry about. It's on wood. I don't have to worry about smoothness. This thing is already a pain in the butt to open and close. This bag of vegetables, I couldn't cut it with a pair of scissors. It wouldn't cut. The scissors were apparently kind of messed up. So I tried cutting it, and surprisingly, this Opinel knife came in incredibly handy. Was able to cut through that for a little bit of food prep for my my lunch in the office. Right there, and cutting through that orange did very well, and that's to do with the blade shape. This looks like a freaking butter knife, fruit paring knife, whatever you wanna call it. That's the kind of blade shape this takes. Again, blade shape is good for what it is. For EDC, it's freaking fantastic. It's very thin. Okay. Although that kind of promotes the cutting, slicing issue of it. So let's go 3 out of the box sharpness. I'm gonna give it a 7 because it did cut. It cut fine after stropping. It's decent. Has a working edge on there. Blade shape, I'll give it a 10. I like the blade shape. It gets the maximum amount of scores. Next up is the handle material. Oh yeah, iced coffee. Oh, delicious. Thank you. Refreshing. All right. Handle material is birch wood. Wood. Now, I like wood handles. Don't get me wrong. But it just seems past its useful days, I guess. I mean, the problem with wood handles is the durability. This thing will crack on you one time or another. It swells up when it gets wet, and then it shrinks when it's too dry. And it's just, right now, I have no idea why this wood swelled up, but this thing is freaking impossible to close. It's like I broke a liner lock right there. That's pretty much how it feels. So, okay, it's impossible to really get it open all the way too, but let's see something audible like this. You could hear it, right? No. You hear me banging on it and still does not, I mean, that's as close as I'll get. Put some marks on that. Definitely put some marks on this. So again, you saw, and even then and this is from the wood swelling. Really hard to close, and definitely it's hard to open. And with that carbon blade, the satin finish, it's a freaking fingerprint magnet. And the thing is, you can't open that without touching the blade. Well, at least when it's this stiff. So that's definitely a con. Go ahead and clean that blade up. Not a fan at all. So handle material, it doesn't do good per se. A 7 is just a doable, right? It's something that I could work with. This is not something that I could work with. The durability lacks. It swells. It's hard to open. So I'm gonna give it a 3 score. Let's see here. Ergonomics. Once opened and locked, it's not bad. It's actually pretty good. It's like any kitchen knife, really. It's not exceptionally good, but it's not bad. It's usable.
definitely not a tactical in any sense. Birchwood, at least with this finish on here, it will slip. It's slippery. So you really have no grip. I mean, the only kind of finger control you have, or finger stop, is that little notch right there, and that, even if you lock it, then it just goes away, and you will slice up your fingers when you try to stab something. And when I say stab something, I don't mean like, you know, a living thing, but anything really. There's some fruits that are very hard. You gotta stab it first and then start cutting. So, like I said, the ergonomics on this, it feels okay, but it really has no traction whatsoever. So, if you're gonna EDC this, and this is not a tactical task, it's doable. It's doable, kind of subpar in my opinion, so I'm gonna give it a 6. Lock and liners. So the lock here is this little twist ring, and you twist it like this, and it locks into play, and so you can't close the blade. You could twist it back forward like such, and now you could essentially, if I could lock this, you could close the blade. Now when the blade is closed, in its closed position, you could turn this to the right, at least when I'm looking at it, to the right, and now you have a locked blade, so it doesn't open up. To open it, you could hold it open, and then I really dread opening and closing this knife. I can't wait till I put it away. I'm pretty sure I could dry off this wood and it'd be much easier to open and close, but every time I open this thing, it's just fingerprint everywhere. Also, not to mention, this blade material, blade steel, the reason why I got a 5 is because it rusts very easily. It does not have good corrosion resistance, so that's another thing. Just gonna keep this ready for fingerprints. And I'm using a hand sanitizer, but it's mostly alcohol, so it'll, you know, burn off for the most part. So locks, it's functional. It's functional. Alright, is it the best lock there? Is it the most convenient? No, not really. But it's functional, so definitely we'll have to give it a 7 because it just works. Actually, I'm gonna give it an 8 because I like how intriguing it is. Okay, it's different. It's unique, and it works. Is that an 8? Pocket clip gets a 0. It doesn't have any pocket clips. Like I said, it's like a kitchen knife. Alright guys, so this is the portion of the video where I show you how I carry. I currently have this Opinel. And it's really incredibly stiff right now. That's how it rides. It's a round, non-tactical, usable pocket knife. So I'll show you how it rides in the pocket. Get a 0. Let's go back to price, our number 1 category. For this amount of money, it's not a bad knife. That's all I'm going to say. Is it the best knife you're going to get? No, not really, because you can still get a somewhat better everyday carry knife with a, I'm not going to say it's a better blade steel, but I guess because it's more corrosion resistant, with liner locks for about the same price. Okay? So, it's good, it's not great. So, 7. It's a doable price for what you get. 9 is fit, finish, and weight. Weight is fantastic. It is incredibly light. I didn't weigh it. I didn't weigh it because it's light. It's light as shit, really. But I don't think that weight, you know, how light it is, it, you know, overrules the no pocket clip, no grip in the handles, the really crappy opening and closing, the two-handed operation. I don't think it overrules that, so I don't even want the weight. But I'm pretty sure it's like in the 2 ounce or even lower than 2 ounce area, 1.5 to 2.5 ounces. This thing is freaking light. So don't quote me on that weight. I didn't weigh it. So weight, fit and finish. It's 5 pieces. It's a wood handle. It's the little locking sleeve. It's the metal ring behind it. Right, that's 3. It's the blade itself, 4, and then that little pin that goes to pin down the blade, 5. 5 freaking pieces put together. In my opinion, not so well. They should have put 6 pieces in there and put some washers in it or something, because this thing is freaking impossible to close. Oh my gosh. I'm not gonna even try to open this anymore. But impossible to close. Okay, so fit and finish really gets... I wanted to give it a 0, but because it's so freaking light, I'll get a 3. Overall, my opinion. Although this knife has pretty much nothing going for it, I like the way it looks. I do. I mean, the whole time I was carrying this, I said, wow, what a piece of crap knife. And everyone tells around me, and everyone knows that I carry a knife. The people that I work with know that I carry a knife, and they ask me, hey, can I borrow your knife? Every single one that asked me to borrow this knife said, this isn't such a great knife. You know, for the most part, they're like, what the hell is this? Is that a knife? That's what they tell me in the very beginning. So it's an interesting talking piece. That's what it is. That's what this knife is good for. I don't know what else I could say about that. Interesting talking piece. If you have the money laying around, and this really doesn't cost that much, so I'm pretty sure you would have the money laying around. This is not a knife, not a bad knife to just have, just for fun. Honestly, if you like the look of this Opinel, go for it. It's not an expensive knife by any means. If this is a knife that was going to be your only pocket knife, I don't recommend it. I don't. But if you already have a few pocket knives that you love and you want something different, definitely something you should try out. You know, I have nothing against that. Definitely not. Is it a bad knife? No, it works. It works like a knife is supposed to. It's missing a crap load of features, but I mean that's not the whole point. It's a very minimal knife, minimalistic knife. If you want a lot of features, you're gonna have to pay a little bit more money as well. So, bottom line, if I lost this knife or if I broke this knife, will I run out and buy another one? Answer is no. I just don't care for this knife enough for me to buy another knife. Another one of these to replace it. It doesn't really hold any collection value, at least in my opinion. I could be wrong, but it doesn't. There's too many of them being made and they're too cheap to start with. And they're not going to last long enough for it to be a good piece. Honestly, if you use it, this handle's going to break. And it's wood. Obviously, it's not the most durable material. Okay. So, because I just like the way it looks, and my opinions, and my recommending, because I don't recommend it, it already gets a 0. But for my opinion, I like the way it looks. So I'll give it a 5. Okay. So that's the overall scoring. Let me go ahead and add these numbers up and then kind of give you a total score for this knife. And if it reaches past 80, then it's recommended by me. So it gets a total score of 54. Kind of expected this to happen. Makes sense. Expected this to happen. Definitely. This is the Opinel number 8 carbon blade. That's my video, guys. Again, this rating system is entirely freaking my opinion. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to have a lot of haters, especially because this knife gets so many positive freaking reviews, and I have no freaking idea why, but it gets so many positive reviews. I kind of compared this knife to this one, so again, you saw that video, so it kind of shows that this is out of its time. It was really annoying while I was using it to use it, although the cutting performance did fantastic. It's just, I prefer a one-handed open, one-handed closed knife. And when I was cutting that vegetable bag, I had to put down the vegetable bag, and then I had to get out my knife, flick it open, hold that vegetable bag, and then try to slice it again. So, not a big deal, but definitely a waste of time. If I was in a situation where I needed it quicker, I would be asked out, period, okay? So my next review, this isn't even, I don't know why, but this is my current everyday carry right now. It's a Kershaw Skyline. So we'll see a review on this. This one's going to score pretty damn high. It is going to lose points on the clip and the flipper. But besides that, this is a fantastic blade. Alright, thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave it down there. I'll try to get back to you. If you want a knife for me to review, go ahead and leave in the comment area. I'll try to buy one if I save up enough money. If not, if you want to send me a knife to review, I'll review it and send it back, or so on and so forth. Or if you just think the knife is cheap and just send it to me, then whatever, I'll take it, I'll review it. So this knife is a bummer, definitely. I'm going to go ahead and put it in a Ziploc bag with some decantant in it so that it does dry up, and hopefully it'll open up that action. But even then, I'm not going to use it. Alright, thank you for watching.